Hey guys, this is John David, and I'm here to bring the controversy today. So sit down in your seats and go ahead and buckle up too, because this is about to be a bumpy ride. Today we are talking about photomath. Photomath. Probably if you are not a math teacher, you've never heard of this. If you're a math teacher, I'm sure that a shiver just went down your spine when I mentioned this. Because I don't know about you all, but this tends to be one of the biggest problems I encounter in my class, in addition to one of the most amazing pieces of technology that I've ever come across. So first, a little background on photomath. It was developed by a Croatian company that was more concerned with text recognition software, being able to take a picture of handwriting and then convert it into like a PDF form. And along the way, they figured out, hey, there's a real application for this in math, and people weren't taking advantage of it until they developed this app. And what's really great about this is it allows me to, here we go, I've got it written in gold. I've got a couple problems, and I can actually take this, I'm gonna scan it into my phone by just taking a simple picture. There we go. And then if you see, I've actually converted the problem into a text format, and what's really great is not only do I have the text, and I'm also given the answer, but I also am given the steps in between. And that is the greatest thing about this technology and its downfall all at once. So let me explain why. So in a traditional classroom model, you're taking notes during the day, you're doing a little bit of guided practice with your time left over, and then you send kids home at the end of the night, and they have this big cryptic void that they have to fill using their notes, textbooks, the other students, the internet, all that sort. There's lots of resources, but a lot of times students get home, they get stuck, they get frustrated, and they quit. And what's great about this app is, like we've seen here, it not only takes the problem and solves it for us, but it gives us all the steps along the way. And what I really like about that is, in math, and with math literacy specifically, one of the uphill battles we're constantly fighting is that we have to represent equations in all these different forms. And two that are really tricky for students are going to be the symbolic or the numeric representation. They're kind of used interchangeably. And then also the graphic form. And what I love about this app is that it helps students grapple with not only the symbolic form, where they're actually seeing how the equations play out in the way that they're written in traditionally in class, but also we have this nice bit where it graphs it out for you and gives students an understanding of what they might be imagining graphically for this equation as they move forward. And so I really like that there's varied uses for it, and it kind of spans a lot of the difficulties within the discipline-specific literacy. So that's kind of its downfall too, is that it gives you all the steps, it gives students all the steps. So a lot of times I'll find that students are taking pictures of things that we've done in class and then simply copying the steps down and bringing that in for their homework. And that's what I don't like about this app, and that's the controversy of it, is that it allows students to effectively bypass a lot of the mechanics and understanding because that's simply just given to them in rote form, and they don't really have to think that much to get it. And so, I think that there are definitely limitations, but just like with any technology, you just want to figure out how to harness it for good. I will say that once I caught on to my students using this, it was something that I encouraged, but in specific ways, mostly being like, guys, use it as a review tool. This is not your first go around with these sorts of things. Once you get good at it and you get stuck, that's when you use it. But when we're doing our initial exposure to material, that's when I really want students to put your phones away, put calculators away, And that's a point to be made too. Back in my day, I would just pull out my TI 80 whatever and more or less do the same process. I just didn't have the steps. And that's what makes it different. But like I said, that's really what makes it better, because when students are grappling with this new language for the first time, that's when they really need that guidance. And I can't be there all the time to stand over their shoulder and say, what are you doing here? Or what should you do there? So that's where an app like this really comes in handy. One topic I think goes really well with this were the types of problems I was working with, equations. Because it so clearly spells out the steps, it shows you the linear form, it's got a lot of rich data for that. And like I said, this tool really enhances a student's understanding of the symbolic or numeric form of equations. So I hope you guys have learned a little bit about the tool, and hopefully you'll be using it in your classrooms. Let me know what you think, and you'll have a great night.